Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmejid Tebboune, has had a phone call with his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr, during which they reiterated their will to resume without delay the security cooperation and to promote relations between the two countries. Over 40 Palestinians, including one journalist and his family, have been killed over the past 24 hours in the bombardments carried out by the Israeli occupation against notably the southern part of the Gaza Strip. The foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have called for increased relief efforts for those affected by the violent earthquake that struck Myanmar and Thailand last Friday. Hello and welcome on Radio Algeria International. I'm Mariam Berchi. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmejid Tebboune, has received a telephone call from his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, during which the French President expressed his best wishes of success and prosperity to the Algerian people and President. During the phone call, the two presidents agreed to resume without delay the security cooperation and to resume the work carried out by the Joint Commission of Historians. According to a communiqué issued by the Presidency of the Republic, the two men had a friendly, frank and long exchange on the state of the bilateral relations as well as on the tensions that have increased over the past months. On the occasion, the two presidents reiterated their will to resume the fruitful dialogue enshrined by the Declaration of Algiers adopted on August 2022, and which has been put into a concrete form with the setting up of a joint commission bringing together French and Algerian historians that allowed for the restitution of the remains of Shuhada or martyrs. The communiqué said that the commission's members would be meeting soon in France and that their conclusions and proposals would be submitted to the two heads of state before this summer. The two presidents agreed that resuming a peer-to-peer dialogue has been made necessary considering the strength of the relations, particularly human, linking the Algeria and France, the strategic and security interests, as well as the challenges and crises facing Europe, the Mediterranean and Africa. Such a dialogue is also required between the two partners, considered two major European and African actors who both remained attached to international equality as well as to the principles and goals defined by the UN Charter. In this connection, the two presidents agreed to closely work towards promoting the relation linking the two countries and boosting cooperation in the security and migration fields. They also took note of the forthcoming visit by French Justice Minister Gérald Darmanin to Algeria as part of the reinforcement of bilateral cooperation in the judiciary field. The French and Algerian presidents, who agreed in principle to meet soon, stressed the importance of reinforcing economic cooperation between the two countries and promoting exchanges and investment within the respect of the interests of the two countries. In this respect, President Macron expressed his country's support for a revision of the association agreement reached between the European Union and Algeria. The French president reiterated his confidence in President Tebboune's wisdom, urging for a gesture of humanity to be made towards Boualem Sansal on account of the writer's age and health condition. It is worth noting that the two presidents' ambition to raise the two countries' relation in order to meet their expectations will be translated by the French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot's visit to Algeria planned for April 6 at the invitation of his Algerian counterpart Ahmed Attaf. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmejid Tebboune, has received telephone calls from several of his counterparts who expressed their best wishes to the President of the Algerian people on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. President Tebboune received a telephone call from the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who sent him his greetings for Eid al-Fitr and wished the Algerian people progress and prosperity. The President of the Republic extended his Eid greetings to the Emirati President, wishing the brotherly Emirati people every success. The two presidents agreed to meet as soon as possible. The President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, a brotherly country, Mr. Masoud Pezeshkian, for his part, sent his Eid al-Fitr greetings to Algeria and the Algerian people, wishing Algeria further progress and prosperity. After discussing bilateral relations and ways and means of strengthening them, the two presidents agreed to meet soon in Tehran or Algiers. President Tebboune also extended his best wishes to his Iranian counterpart, wishing the Iranian people more progress and prosperity. Earlier, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmejid Tebboune, and his brother, the President of the Republic of Tunisia, a sister country, Mr. Kais Saied, exchanged greetings on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. They expressed their wishes for prosperity, progress, peace and security to the two brotherly peoples of Algeria and Tunisia and agreed to hold a meeting as soon as possible. Earlier, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmejid Tebboune, extended his best wishes to the members of the People's National Army and to the health sector personnel on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. The President has sent his best wishes to all the members of the National People's Army, the worthy heir of the National Liberation Army officers, non-commissioned officers, men in the ranks and assimilated civilian personnel throughout all the military regions, particularly those located along the Algerian borders. He also extended his best wishes to all members of the National Gendarmerie, Police, Civil Protection and Customs, wishing them every success in carrying out their missions. He also extended his best wishes to the doctors and all the staff in the health sector who looks after public health. Moving to France, the condemnation by a Paris court on the leader of the French far-right Rassemblement National Party, Marine Le Pen, to 5 years of ineligibility has been held by several French parties and politicians, as well as members of non-profit sector who are calling for the decisions of the courts to be respected. For the Secretary of the Ecologists, Marine Tondelier, the court's decision is in no way surprising or shocking, given that Marine Le Pen is subjected to the law like any other French person. She stressed that Marine Le Pen must serve her sentence and called on the leader of the National Rally to respect the court's decision. La France Insoumise left-wing party, for its part, said it had taken note of the decision, claiming that it would defeat Marine Le Pen's party at the ballot box regardless of its candidate. Commenting on Marine Le Pen's conviction, socialist Jérôme Guedj said that the court's decision is part of the political exercise, adding that it is part of the democratic contract when you are an elected representative to set an example. In a similar move, François Ruffin, left-wing politician, said that Marine Le Pen should accept her fate, pointing out that the French are fed up with elected representatives who embezzle money. Several other politicians from Emmanuel Macron's Renaissance Party said that they respected the court's decision. The French anti-corruption organization Anticor also welcomed the French court's decision, stressing that it illustrated the fair implementation of the principle of equality. Marine Le Pen's sentence by the French courts to 5 years ineligibility to be served immediately and 4 years imprisonment, 2 of which will be served under an electronic bracelet. The court pointed out that Marine Le Pen's central role in the system set up to embezzle money from the European Parliament and cited disturbance of public order and democratic functioning. Moving to our Middle Eastern file, over 14 Palestinians, including one journalist and his family, have been killed over the past 24 hours in the bombardments carried out by the Israeli army against notably the southern part of the Gaza Strip. The news agency Wafa said that journalist, his wife, and his 3 children were killed when a drone attack hit his house west of the southern town of Khan Yunis. Other areas were also targeted by the Israeli bombardments, including Gaza and Rafah in the southern part of the enclave. In this respect, the Palestinian presidency warned against seriousness of the evacuation orders issued by the Israeli authorities against the inhabitants of Rafah. It was quoted by Wafa as saying that the displacement process initiated by the Israeli occupying authorities was running counter the international law. In the meantime, the Israeli army pursued its acts of aggression on the West Bank, mainly targeting the town of Tulkarem as well as the North Shams refugee camp. This came as the member of the Palestinian National Council and coordinator of the Palestinian community in Belgium and Luxembourg called for more pressure to be exerted on the Israeli government to force it to put a halt to the crimes perpetrated in both Gaza and the West Bank. Addressing the meeting of a Human Rights and Security Commission without the Parliamentary Assembly of the Union for the Mediterranean, he stressed the need to give access to humanitarian aid, to reject all displacement plans of the Palestinian people, and to provide an international protection network to the Palestinians. In Lebanon, at least 3 people were killed and 7 others wounded in airstrikes carried out overnight against the southern suburb of the capital, Beirut. The foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have called for increased relief efforts for those affected by the violent earthquake that struck Myanmar and Thailand last Friday, local media reported. During a special emergency meeting of the ASEAN foreign ministers via video conference, the Southeast Asian bloc agreed to strengthen relief and recovery efforts through the Asian Standby Arrangement and ASEAN member states' contribution. The Asian Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Management, AHCR Center, is also deploying the Asian Emergency Response and Assessment Team to support field-level operations and preparing the mobilization of ASEAN relief items through the Disaster Emergency Logistics System for ASEAN. It also announced that Malaysian Foreign Minister Mohammed Hassan will be on a humanitarian visit to Myanmar on April 5th, accompanied by his Thai counterpart, Marisangja Pongsa. The United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, has stressed that shelter, clean water and medicine are in short supply following the earthquake in Myanmar that has caused significant structural damage and had a devastating human toll. A 7.7 magnitude earthquake on Friday, which killed more than 2,700 people, left more than 1,500 injured, severely damaged critical infrastructure, including major bridges and roads. Several UN agencies have raised the alarm about the shortage of drinking water, with concerns of cholera spreading. The World Health Organization said hospitals were overwhelmed and that medical supplies were running out, and that there were shortages of running water and fuel. The UN's refugee agency, UNHCR, has identified the situation as a top-level humanitarian crisis and is mobilizing stocks like plastic sheets, sleeping material and mosquito nets. Response efforts have been complicated by severe damage to roads and bridges as it took UNHCR teams 13 hours to reach Mandalay from Yangon in what should usually be an 8-hour journey. OCHA, UNHCR and UNICEF have raised funding concerns, urging countries to offer money so they can replenish stocks. That's it for today's news bulletin. Stay tuned on Radio Algeria International. Saha Haidkum.
Hello and welcome to our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. First in the news, the CEO of the Sonatrach Energy Group, Rashid Hashishi, and the CEO of the electricity group Sonelgaz, Murad Ajel, have met in Addis Ababa with the CEO of Ethiopia Investment Holding, EIH, Brooke Tay, as part of the official visit of the Minister of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohamed Arkab, to the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, according to a statement from the ministry. The meeting focused on investment prospects, cooperation and partnership between Algerian companies and their Ethiopian counterparts, notably in the energy, hydrocarbons and fertilizer industries. The talks also focused on the activities of Sonatrach and Sonelgaz, underlining Algeria's expertise in the fields of exploration, transport and processing of hydrocarbons, in addition to fertilizer production. The CEO of the Sonelgaz Group, Murad Ajel, and the Ambassador of the Republic of South Africa to Algiers, Ndumison Dima Nchinga, have examined ways of strengthening bilateral cooperation in the energy sector, according to a group press release. The meeting provided an opportunity to examine the prospects for partnership between the Sonelgaz Group and its South African counterpart, and the two parties reviewed opportunities for cooperation in the fields of manufacturing and direct debit services. In this respect, Murad Ajel affirmed Sonelgaz's willingness to develop its relations with South African companies, highlighting Algeria's position as a reliable energy supplier and the group's reputation at regional and international levels. A significant number of home appliances are produced here in our country, including Samsung and TCL products, which is in line with the Algerian authorities' objective to develop this crucial sector of economic activity. More details on this topic with Zuhair Lammari, executive in charge of digital appliances.
The integration ratio for RAC is actually 40%. And we are aiming to go to 60% in maybe 2 years after. We are following exactly the Algerian government direction So we are starting from the first year, 40% is quite good, and we are aiming for a short term going more further and further.
As for Bilqadi Mehdi, TCL marketing executive in Algeria, he says the following.
Our objective in terms of expansion this year, we target around 20 brand shops in Algeria in total by the end of 2025. The strategy of TCL is very clear. We want to implement the brand deeply inside Algeria market in terms of HA product and HE product, which means for television, for home appliances, we want to implement deeply our product with aggressive price and high quality product. And also we are in partnership with Bisma Distribution, which is our exclusive partner here, and we do our the product manufacturing is doing locally, which is we are following our president directive. So TCL in Algeria is here to stay for a long time.
In more Algerian economic news, the Minister of Internal Trade and National Market Regulation, Tayyip Zitouni, and the High Commissioner for Digitization, Maryam Ben Mouloud, have co-chaired a meeting devoted to a presentation on the digitization of the sector, according to a ministry press release. The meeting, which was part of a drive to interconnect ministerial sectors pursuant to the instructions of the President of the Republic, provided an opportunity to present current solutions and to outline the roadmap for cooperation between the two sectors with a view to achieving the objectives of digitization in the domestic trade and national market regulation sectors, notably with regard to consumer goods. The Minister of State, Minister of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohamed Arkab, has met with the Secretary General of the Forum of Gas Exporting Countries, GECF, Mohamed Hamel, with whom he discussed the state of the global natural gas market and the challenges facing the sector, said a ministry press release. Discussions focused on ways to strengthen cooperation among forum member countries, notably in the wake of the 7th Summit of Heads of State and Government of GECF member countries, held in Algiers in March 2024, which was sanctioned by the Algiers Declaration. The Minister of the Knowledge Economy, Startups and Micro-Enterprises, Noureddin Wadah, has announced in Tipaza that his department was considering revising the ceiling for financing micro-business startup projects with the National Agency for the Support and Development of Entrepreneurship, NESDA, and the National Agency for the Management of Microcredit, ANGEM. In a statement to the press at the end of a working visit to the province of Tipaza, the minister said that it was abnormal that the NESDA and ANGEM agencies continue to finance projects with a ceiling that has been fixed for 20 years, noting the need to review the amount of funding in line with the needs of the national economy as part of a joint government action, pointing out that financing was subject to several criteria, notably the efficiency and added value that the project would bring. The Minister of Health, Abdelhak Sayhi, has met with the Belgian ambassador to Algiers, Jean-Jacques Queria, with whom he examined the opportunities for investment and partnership between the two countries in the field of health, according to a press release issued by the ministry. On this occasion, the Belgian ambassador expressed his country's desire to promote bilateral partnership and cooperation to serve the interests of both countries, praising Algeria's development in various fields, notably economic. And to wrap it up, the Minister of Pharmaceutical Industry, Wassim Kouidri, has said in Bouira that the pharmaceutical industry and the production of medicines have made great strides in recent years in Algeria, thanks to projects launched across the country's various regions. In a statement to the press on the sidelines of his visit to the province of Bouira, the minister said he was very pleased to see all the potential and projects in the pharmaceutical industry in this province, before stressing the need to encourage operators and manufacturers to invest in the production of medical devices as well as inputs and chemical products. And with this, we come to the end of our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. Take care and bye-bye for now.
Millions of Muslims across the world today celebrated Eid al-Fitr, or fast-breaking festival, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan, a season of fasting and spiritual insight. Eid al-Fitr festival is a time to remember those who are in need and celebrate with family and friends the completion of a month of blessings and joy. Early today, Muslims from all over the world, dressed in new and nice clothes, swarmed mosques to hear imams preach and perform the Eid prayer. Sumptuous foods have been prepared at Muslim homes to celebrate the fast-breaking festival. Algeria, like all Muslim countries, welcomed the Eid festival with joy and happiness in the various regions of the country. Every region in Algeria differs in the way it celebrates the event, according to its own traditions and customs. Let's introduce you to some of them in today's special program devoted to Al-Eid.
Before, we were not interested too much in making cakes. Generally, we prepare three main kinds of cakes, like maqroud, ghribiya, and kroki. But now, with this open world, we have a lot of chance to see a lot of kinds of cakes in the world. So we have the chance to create other kinds of cakes, like shamiyat, like Italian, French cakes.
Oh yes, I like cakes very much. I used to prepare many kinds, traditional ones, like zirawi, maqroud, ghribiya. Also foreign ones, gâteaux russes, les macarons, les boules de neige, and so on. Now everybody is concerned by cakes. I can't imagine a happy Eid without cakes.
In addition to making cakes, women during the last week of Ramadan go out with their children and scatter in the different shops to choose the best clothes of Eid for their children. Some families save big sums of money, especially for this occasion. A day before Eid, Mauritian people rush to the market and buy meat and different vegetables, desserts to prepare an Eid meal. It is generally either a couscous or a delicious shakshuka, which will be eaten in groups to express the joy of Eid.
And our trip across the country, we have chosen to take you to the western province of Oran of the Eid celebration there.
In a happy climate, besides the festive atmosphere of the evenings of the sacred month, Ramadan, in group or individually, in Oran, ladies indulge to prepare by themselves the cake of the Eid. In spite of the considerable weight of the effort granted in the preparation of the numerous dishes and the dish of iftar, fearless they compete in ingenuity to present the best product and be able to cover itself with pride. Tradition obliges. Every woman has to prepare at least 5 or 6 varieties of cake, if possible of highest in voice. No matter if the housewife budget takes a blow after months full of spending and multiple loads, the main part for these housewives is to end Ramadan in high light. Concerning the clothing effect, there are several destinations in Oran privileged by the citizen, and it's according to their financial possibilities. The most provided on these towns, even if some go as far as getting into debt to get dressed at the top of range, recover from it in luxurious general stores and workshops. It is the case of Matchless Medin Jdida, where we sell of everything and to all the stock exchanges. The Eid al-Fitr was always a majestic party for all the generations, the traditions which appear every time to create an incomparable festive atmosphere. With this joy, living and this overflowing happiness, we wish to all Algerian people Eid Mubarak.
At the end, let's wish the Algerian people and Muslims all over the world a happy Eid full of blessings, joy and happiness.
يوميا لحظة بلحظة، أخبار الساسة والسياسة، المال والأعمال، الثقافة والرياضة. الجزائر الدولية نافذة مفتوحة على أخبار العالم.